In 2017, Travis Kalanick walked out of Uber headquarters for the last time. The board he'd spent 8 years building looked him in the eye and told him he was done. And then, nothing. No interviews, no appearances. For 8 years, the most recognizable founder in Silicon Valley simply wasn't there. Until last week, he resurfaced. And what he's been building in silence has nothing to do with software. This is what Travis Kalanick built in the dark. 2 days ago, a company called Atoms went live. Not an app, not software. Machines. Robots that cook food, drill through rock, and haul cargo across mines. But Atoms didn't appear from nowhere. It grew out of something called city storage systems. Thousands of employees, 40 properties across 24 cities. And every single one of them was forbidden from saying who they worked for. Because the last time the world watched Travis Kalanick build something, they took it from him while he was burying his mother. In May 2017, Bonnie Kalanick was killed in a boating accident. Travis's father nearly died in the same crash, and while he was still planning her funeral, 5 of his own investors sent him a letter demanding he resign. So he disappeared. Not because he gave up, because the last time he built in public, they destroyed him. This time, he would build in the dark. $300 million. His own money. No press releases, no website, a $15 billion company that the industry didn't even know existed. And then last week, he published a manifesto. One line defined everything. Digitizing the physical world is my life's work. The first thing Kalanick built was not a robot. It was a kitchen. City storage systems started by buying up cheap commercial real estate across the country. Warehouses, strip malls, parking structures. Then converting them into ghost kitchens, dozens of tiny restaurant kitchens in a single building, cooking food for delivery apps, no dining room, no waitstaff, no storefront. In his own words, the whole idea was, can you get a meal that's prepared and delivered to you so efficiently that it starts to approach the cost of going to the grocery store? Because if you do to the kitchen what Uber did to the car. Do to the kitchen what Uber did to the car. That was always the point. But here's the thing most people missed. The kitchens were never the product. The kitchens were the proving ground. If you can automate cooking, you can automate anything physical. That is the leap Kalanick made. Software companies moved data. He wanted to move atoms, real physical things. Food on a plate, ore out of a mine, cargo across a warehouse floor. 3 divisions. Atoms food, Atoms mining, Atoms transport. Each one a different industry. Same underlying idea. Take a physical process that depends on human hands and hand it to a machine that never stops. He calls them gainfully employed robots, not humanoids, not science fiction, specialized machines with real jobs. And then there is Pronto. Pronto is an autonomous vehicle company built for closed industrial sites. Mines, ports, construction zones, no public roads, no regulators, just machines moving through controlled spaces. Its founder is Pronto Levandowski, the engineer at the center of the Uber self-driving car scandal. Kalanick's former colleague, and Kalanick is now acquiring Pronto and folding it into Atoms. The man who was forced out of Uber over self-driving cars is back, building self-driving vehicles, with the same engineer. Just not on public roads this time. When asked about his years in silence, Kalanick said something that reframes everything. When I told my friends and colleagues about my plans for what was next, they were really excited that I was coming back. The thing is, I never left. Here is what Kalanick figured out while everyone thought he was gone. Software companies have spent 40 years automating information. Language, math, data. But the physical world, the world of things you can touch, that remains almost entirely untouched by automation. In his manifesto, Kalanick lays out 3 steps. First, understand the current state of the physical world. Where is every object, every machine, every vehicle right now? Second, predict the future state. Where will they be in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours? And third, control it. Move the physical world the way software moves data. He calls this the atoms versus bits framework. Software companies digitize bits, but Kalanick, he wants to digitize atoms. There is a reason Atoms does not build humanoid robots. Kalanick was at a robotics conference watching humanoid robots attempt a half marathon. And he thought, in his own words, how much better it would be if they just had wheels. That is the entire philosophy of Atoms in one sentence. Do not build a robot that looks like a person. Build a robot that does one job better than any person ever could. A kitchen robot does not need legs. A mining drill does not need arms shaped like human arms. An autonomous hauler does not need a face. Every robot Atoms builds is designed for one task, one environment, one job. That is what gainfully employed means. Not a general-purpose machine pretending to be human. A specialist. Kalanick believes we are standing at the beginning of what he calls a golden age. In his manifesto, he writes, "The automation of the physical world is the next phase of the AI era. Production and transportation become driven primarily by computation, minerals, and energy. With autonomous machines building other machines and software constantly improving itself, productivity could reach unprecedented levels. Autonomous machines building other machines. That is the line that stops you cold. Not robots working alongside humans. Robots building robots. A self-reinforcing loop where each generation of machine is assembled by the last. It is the most ambitious claim any tech founder has made in years, and it is coming from the man Silicon Valley wrote off a decade ago. And then there is the final twist. According to the information, Uber is now reportedly considering funding Kalanick's new venture. The company that forced him out. The board that sent him that letter while he was grieving. That same company may now write a check to back his return. Everything connects. Uber, Waymo, Levandowski. And now Atoms. The entire self-driving industry traces back to the same group of people, the same arguments, the same ambitions. Whether Kalanick's vision is genius or hubris, no one can say yet. But here is what is not in dispute. A man who was publicly humiliated, who lost his mother and his company in the same month, spent 8 years in total silence building something no one saw coming. And whether you believe in his golden age or not, there is something undeniable about a person who responds to the worst moment of their life by quietly building the most ambitious thing they have ever attempted. In 2017, Travis Kalanick walked out of Uber headquarters for the last time. 8 years later, he walked back out. Into the open. Into the light. And this time, no one is taking it from him. I'm Sarah. Keep asking questions and see you on the timeline.